In the design of a jet engine part, the designer has a choice of specifying either an aluminum alloy casting or steel casting. So either material will provide equal service, but the aluminum cast will weigh 1.2 kg as compared with 1.35 kg for the steel casting. The aluminum can be cast for rupees 80 per kg and the steel one for rupees 35 per kg. The cost of machining per unit is rupees 150 for aluminum and rupees 170 for steel. Every kilogram of excess weight is associated with a penalty of rupees 1300 due to increased fuel consumption. Which material should be specified and what is the economic advantage of the selection per unit? So in this problem, the design engineer of a jet engine part is having a choice to choose two material. So one is aluminum alloy casting and another one is steel casting. And it is also that both the material will provide the equal service. So there is no any kind of a deviation. So here the aluminum casting will weigh 1.2 kg but the steel casting will weigh 1.35 kg. So that is aluminum casting is lower than that of the steel casting, right? So here again, so while casting, it is also said that aluminum for making 1 kg it cost 80 rupees, whereas for steel it is for 35 rupees per kg. So here again, here the steel one is quite lower in price. So the cost of machine per unit. So machinery cost per unit is 150 rupees for aluminum and for steel is 170 rupees. So here aluminum is quite lower. So if it is having an excess weight, then there is a penalty of rupees 1300. This is because fuel consumption will be more due to excess weight. So in this question they are asking that which will be the economic one material. So as a solution what we can do is we can find separately for aluminum and for steel. So total cost of jet engine part made of aluminum per unit and cost of jet engine part made of steel per unit. So for aluminum unit, so we have cost of making aluminum cast per unit plus cost of machining aluminum cast per unit. So keep it in mind. So here they have asked in terms of unit. So in the given data they have mentioned that the aluminum can be cast for rupees 80 rupees per kg, right? So and also the aluminum casting will weigh 1.2 kg, right? So what we can do is 80 into 1.2 plus, so machine per unit cost is 150 rupees. So as mentioned in the question. So now you can find the total cost of jet engine part made of aluminum per unit in terms of rupees. So similarly you can find the cost of jet engine part made of steel per unit. So now what we are having is, so 35 kg of making steel casting, right? So making cost is 35 rupees per kg and per kg is means the weight of steel casting per unit is mentioned in the question is 1.35 kg, right? So what you can do is You can multiply 35 into 1.35 to get the cost of making steel cast per unit. So plus cost of machining the steel cast unit is 170 rupees as mentioned in the question. So here they have also mentioned in the question that penalty. So that is excess weight will have a penalty of rupees 1300 due to increased consumption of fuel, right? So here we have to include the penalty because it is having 1.35 per kg of weight, right? So that is 1300 into 1.35, that is the weight of steel casting per unit minus 1.2. So here the 1.2 is the aluminum cast weight. So you will get the total summing up of cost of making steel casting per unit plus cost of machining steel casting per unit plus penalty for excess weight of steel casting. So will give you the cost of jet engine part made of steel per unit. So in terms of rupees. So always keep in mind that if you are having the weight is higher for the one particular material, then check if any penalty is given for increased fuel consumption or else anything. If they have mentioned about any penalty for what means, whether that is for excess kilogram or else the lower weight or something like that. So you have to note this and add up wherever it is required. Okay. So now coming to the decision part. So here the aluminum is suggested for making the jet engine part because it is having less total cost per unit. So to find the economic advantage of using aluminum over steel is that you can deduct the higher amount, that is the steel over the aluminum. So that is your economic advantage. So if it is asked in a question that about the economic advantage particularly, then you have to write this about the economic advantage by deducting with the higher to the lower.